Hello and welcome back to Lesson 5 of CNC Lathe Programming. In this lesson we'll be discussing 4 G-codes used to write toolpaths for CNC lathes. We're going to start with the G0, used for rapid positioning, then the G1, used for linear interpolation, or also known as straight line moves, the G2 for clockwise arcs, and the G3 for counterclockwise arcs. So let's take a look and see how that's done. Alright, and for this exercise we're going to be discussing the G code used to do the finish pass of this part. The G code is a combination of G0, G1, G2 and G3 moves, and we're going to go over step by step what information is necessary to complete each move. So let's take a quick look and see what the toolpath is going to look like when we're through writing the code. You can see it's a combination of straight line moves, clockwise arcs and counterclockwise arcs. Alright, so let's rewind that and step through this program one line at a time and discuss the details. Alright, so we are positioned right in line with our first piece of geometry, and we got to that point with a rapid move, so we're using a GO to wrap it to the X 250 thousandths and Z 100 thousandths in front of the part, in line with our first piece of geometry, which is the bottom of the 250 radius. Now I'm going to hide the solids right here so we can see the dimensions as we discuss the code. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is, after rapiding to our start position, is make a straight line move where the tip is at the start point of the bottom of this 250 radius. Alright, so we're going to be swinging the radius up to this 750 thousandths diameter. So if we subtract 250 times 2, we end up with X 250 thousandths. So that's where we're sitting, at the bottom of the radius. Alright, so the first move we're going to make is right up against the part, which is a straight line move, G1, to Z0, which is the front of the part. And of course, the first time we call a linear move, we're going to have to activate the feed rate. So we're just going to do this at a feed rate of 7 thousandths per revolution. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is swing this radius, and that is going to be a counterclockwise arc from X250 up to this 750 diameter. And when we are done, or at the end point of that radius, we'll be sitting at Z minus 0.250 X 750. So you can see that's this line right here. We're going to do a G3 counterclockwise arc with an end point of X 0.750, Z minus 250, and anytime you have a G2 or G3, it needs to have a radius value on that line, and in this case that is the 250 radius. Alright, so let's complete that move. Alright, so now we're going to have to go straight to the start point of the next radius, which is a 125 radius. So this dimension right here, the 1 inch 125, we're going to have to stop short 125 thousandths at the start of that radius. So we're going to make a straight line move, G1, Z minus 1 inch. So let's complete that move. Now we're starting our G2 clockwise arc, and at the end point, we're starting at 750 in X. At the end point of the radius, be 125 times 2, so 250 plus the 750. The end point will be at X 1 inch, and then we'll be at the Z minus 1 inch 125, and again on a line with a G2 or G3 we have to finish it with a radius value, so that is a 125 radius. So let's complete that move, and then we're going on to the G1. We're going to have to make a straight line move up to the start point of this 60 thousandths radius, and at that point we will be sitting at X 1 inch 130. So there's that little straight line move. Now we're going to do a counterclockwise arc and forming that 60,000 radius, so that's a G3. At the end point of that radius we'll be sitting at this X 1 inch 250 diameter, and we're going to add 60 thousandths to this 1 inch 125, so that is Z minus 1 inch 185, and of course the radius 60 thousandths. So let's complete that move. Then we're going to make a straight line move to the next tangency point, which is Z minus 1 inch 750. So you take this 2 inch diameter, we have a 250 radius, so we back up 250 from 2 inch, so that is G1 Z minus 1 inch 750. So let's complete that move. Alright, so now we have to make a clockwise arc to finish this radius. So that is the G2, and again 250 times 2 is 500 plus the 1 inch 250. The end point in X of that radius is going to be X 1 inch 750, and you can see we'll be right up against this wall here, which sits at Z minus 2 inch and the radius of 250. Alright, so let's complete that move. Alright, so we got a little straight move to make to come up to this 1 inch 996. So that's that G1 X1996 right here. Let's complete that. And then we got a 6 inch radius all the way up to here. And that will be a clockwise arc. And the end point is going to be at X 2 inches 700. And according to our dimension here, the Z end point is Z minus 3 inches 998. And of course the radius that we're swinging is that 6 inch radius. So let's complete that move. Alright, there we are. We got one more move to make to the end of the part, which is a straight line move going to the end point of Z minus 4 inches 375. Let's complete that. And then we have one more move just to clear the part at a 45-degree angle, which is a straight line move. And it's actually a taper move, but it's still a straight line taper move to X 2 inches 8411, and that is just a safe one. That there's no significance to this number right here. We're just backing up to a safe clearance plane. Alright, so I hope that helped. Watch it several times and make sure you understand the information necessary on the G2 and G3 lines. Remember, clockwise for G2, counterclockwise for G3. Then it's followed by the end point of that radius, and don't forget the radius at the end of that line. Alright, so I hope that helped. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.